Have you ever chosen a property management company because they were the cheapest? If you have, you're not alone. Most investors compare one thing, the management fees. They'll spend hours trying to save $50 or $75 a month. I've learned something. But after all my time in property management, I've learned something. The cheapest property manager is often the most expensive decision you'll ever make. And let me tell you a story. Several years ago, one of our clients owned a fourplex in a small horseshoe-shaped community. There were 7 nearly identical buildings surrounding a shared courtyard. It was a great little investment. One of the neighboring owners became friends with our client, but the other buildings were owned by 2 out-of-state investors. They had hired a different property management company, mostly because their fees were lower. At the time, I suggested something I thought would benefit everyone. I recommended putting all 7 buildings under one management company. Not because I wanted more business, but because consistency matters. When one company manages the entire community, you get better communication, better maintenance, better curb appeal, and a better experience for every resident. So everyone benefits. The owners thanked me for the idea and decided to stick with their cheaper company. Fast forward about 2 years later, one of those owners called our office. He wanted us to take over. The properties had become a mess. There were break-ins, several units were sitting vacant, rent wasn't being collected, maintenance had been ignored, the entire community had started going downhill. As we dug into the records, we recognized the damage was much more than anyone thought. The owner had lost approximately $14,000 in rental income. About $5,000 of that was gone forever because Section 8 inspection failures caused abatement. And once those payments were lost, there was no getting them back. The remaining balance, maybe some of it could have been collected, but maybe not. Either way, the cash flow was gone. Then we walked one of the vacant units. We were told it had been move-in ready for almost 6 months. It wasn't. The repairs weren't finished, the paint looked incomplete, the property just didn't show well. Technically, someone could have rented it. Realistically, nobody wanted. And that's something investors sometimes forget. Good tenants have choices. If your property doesn't look clean, safe, well-maintained, they'll simply rent somewhere else. Then we looked outside. Deferred maintenance had started affecting the entire property. Residents no longer felt safe. Good tenants had moved out, vacancies had increased, finding qualified applicants became harder and harder because the property's reputation had started to suffer. And that's when it hit me. The owner hadn't saved money. They had simply traded lower management fees for a much bigger loss. And here's the lesson. Too many investors focus on the wrong number. They compare property management companies based on what they charge. Instead, they should compare them based on what they prevent. 1 extra month of vacancy, 1 eviction, 1 bad tenant, 1 ignored maintenance issue, 1 failed inspection. Any one of those things could cost you thousands of dollars. Suddenly, saving a few dollars every month doesn't seem like such a great deal. That's why I believe property management isn't about collecting rent. Anyone can cash a check. Professional property management is about protecting your investment and making sure your property is being priced correctly. They're finding great tenants, keeping those tenants happy, staying ahead of maintenance instead of reacting to emergencies, protecting the value of your asset year after year. At VB Property Management, we've intentionally built our company around that philosophy, and we're not trying to become the biggest property management company in Kansas City. We're trying to become the company that investors trust the most. That's why we intentionally limit the number of properties we manage, because every owner deserves attention. Every property deserves oversight, and every investment deserves someone who's thinking beyond the next month's rent collection. So if you're comparing property management companies today, don't ask who's cheapest. Ask who's going to protect my investment, because after everything I've seen over the time that I've been in property management, I've learned one thing. The true cost of property management isn't what you pay every month. It's what poor management costs you when no one pays attention. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel. Every week I share real stories from my experience in the property management to help you become a better real estate investor. And remember, property management isn't about collecting rent. It's about protecting your investment.